This is TD's first podcast he's ever done.
Cheers, everybody. We are back for another edition of Bourbon on a Budget. We're back all together again. Last week's was kind of a fake episode, but TJ Pinger, Ben Cock, Brendan Sonnone, and our first ever three-time returning guest, Elliott Finebloom. Elliott, how you doing tonight? I don't care about these other guys.
Doing good, thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Of course. No, thank you for hanging out. We appreciate it. Ben, Brendan, how was your Thanksgiving?
Oh man, it was a good. So good.
Did you enjoy your Midwinter
ask
Night's
me
Dram
because I'm
on
Jewish?
Thanksgiving?
Happy
I was gonna
Hanukkah,
get you on
Elliott.
another holiday. I was saving the best for last there.
I'm not going to tell you who said this, but somebody actually asked me, do Jewish people celebrate Thanksgiving?
I didn't ask that, did I?
No, not you.
Okay.
And my response was, do Christian people celebrate Flag Day?
Right. Yeah.
Also good. Also good.
Do they?
I don't know. I'm not
Flag Day?
Christian.
Yeah, how would he know that? How is night 2, celebrating Hanukkah night 2 with us? So we appreciate that.
Eight
How
crazy
is
nights.
your Hanukkah off to a nice start? How are things going?
Yeah, it's good. Just the quick lesson on Judaism for everyone. Because it's so usually close to Christmas, people think it's a big holiday. It's actually like number 3 in the Jewish holiday lexicon. So it's not as big a holiday as some others, but
I was
it's been good.
talking with Josh today.
Is Yom Kippur,
Yom
number
Kippur and
one?
Rosh Hashanah, high holy days.
I don't know, it's mine.
I was talking with Newberg today, and he said that because it's so close to Thanksgiving, he was like, "Man, we just got it from the Thanksgiving table. I don't want all the food all over again. Like, I'll get excited for it around day 6 or 7, but like I just saw all these people. Like, I don't want to do it again." So
For Jewish people, some reason the Hanukkah meal is almost identical to the Thanksgiving meal. I don't know why, but that's just what it is.
yeah, he was just
We
like,
eat almost the same thing.
I just ate all that. He's like, I'm not that excited for it. So anyway, I kind of expected Brendan to have us, reviewing like a kosher rye or something like that, but Brendan
That would've
drops
been
the ball.
solid.
Brendan drops the ball on every other, possible situation in this podcast. So,
And I have a kosher rye.
I did too.
Geez, so do I.
so do we. So, would have been perfect, but anyway.
Thanks, Brandon. You're the best.
That's Brendan for you.
It was supposed to be Turkey month.
Turkey's in the past. It's on to Hanukkah. We have tonight. Oh, Brendan, how was your Thanksgiving? Ben answered for his.
It was fun.
Did you have a good one?
I did a turkey sound. Yeah, it was good.
Very good.
Thanks for asking.
I just wanted to
Brendan.
make sure you were included. We're going to do a King of the Hill, which we missed last week. We didn't miss it, but it was just Thanksgiving week, so we did something a little bit different. King of the Hill, round 4, Midwinter Night's Dram versus Bardstown the Prisoner.
Ooh.
We also have some pursuits and purchases to get into. Ben went on some vacation, did some hunting in the mountains of North Carolina. Follow us on social media. You've already kind of seen what he was able to come away with there. But before we get into any of that,
Right.
we're going to honor Elliott and his holiday, even though it's not the highest, but number 3, that's still higher than okay, before we do this, Brendan,
What? Oh my
what are your
God.
top three holidays?
Jewish holidays
No,
or
just your
any
holidays.
holiday? Thanksgiving's probably number 3. Really love Thanksgiving.
3?
I love Thanksgiving. I love the food. Love the family
You're dead to me.
dynamic.
dead to
Football involved in it. There's a little bit of a build-up. Number 2, Christmas Eve. I love the build-up of Christmas Eve. Very magical evening. And
Okay.
what? And then what? And then number 1 is Halloween. Halloween's
Are you
good
kidding
evening.
me?
Yeah.
Halloween is number 1?
one.
Oh my gosh, that is a garbage holiday. Halloween is a garbage holiday.
All right, Ben. Let's hear yours.
Easily number 1, Thanksgiving. Oh my gosh, Thanksgiving. It's basically hanging out with all the people you want to hang out with and all of the food you want, but none of the awkward exchanging gifts. And some guy always goes big on gifts. It's like, white elephant gift at the office. Michael always gets there's always one guy that gets the iPod, you know.
iPod Mini.
Ben's upset about somebody else spending a bunch of money because he's so cheap.
I'm just
this
saying.
is not
I mean,
shocking.
I hate gifts in general. Don't give me gifts. I hate gifts.
Okay, noted. No gifts for
Okay,
you.
so Thanksgiving.
Hey, take back that Michter's tin you had for him, Brendan.
Yeah. Just put it away. Thanksgiving number 1. Number 2 is got to be Christmas. I mean, come on, Christmas is
He
great.
just shat all over Christmas just to put a number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Christmas.
I don't understand. I had Thanksgiving as 3. He had it as 1. That seems like in like the
The fact that you chose
dozens.
Halloween it shouldn't even be in the top 5. Halloween is below Flag Day, just as a point of reference.
we can tell
Halloween
who
is
had a
below
lot of
Flag
fun
Day.
with Halloween
Jeez.
parties in college, and
And then New Year's Eve, number 1 or number 3. Yeah, New Year's Eve.
Yours
yeah,
is an awful
great.
holiday. Oh my god.
Oh no, it's great. I get the pork tenderloin, the collard greens, the black eyed peas. You guys not do that meal? It's like the
Yeah.
meal.
Jewish.
Oh, man.
Oh, Jewish. Yeah.
You don't do the pork tenderloin, Elliott?
You don't do that? I mean, that's part of it.
You know, the bacon and the collard greens and everything else?
Yeah, everyone does that.
I do my John Travolta from Pulp Fiction. Bacon tastes good. Pork chops taste good.
So, because we're honoring Elliott tonight,
Yes.
I want to know, what are your favorite drinks during the holiday? Like, do you have like a during, whether it be any kind of holiday, any kind of Jewish holiday that you celebrate? Do you have something special, or do you just kind of like go for something rare, or what's your take?
I mean, I'm the worst drink guy because I don't drink anything but straight bourbon. So I don't drink any mixed drinks. I don't drink any wine. I don't drink any beer. So no, I go with just whatever I feel like. Thanksgiving's the only one where, you feel like you need to break out a turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just for that purpose. But I'm also a bad day drinker. So if any of these holidays, like usually my holidays are done by the time the sun sets. So
What do you mean by
I don't pour a bourbon
Right.
with my 2:00 Thanksgiving meal.
what? Yeah, what does bad day drinker mean? Like, do you get a little?
I've been arrested a few times.
Waited so quickly.
No, I'm kidding. I just no.
Been arrested multiple times.
I haven't been
Oh,
arrested.
my
It just wrecks me for later in the day. It's like
Oh, that's why you need a nap, man. That midday
Yeah.
nap
Ooh,
is
nap.
clutch with the day drinking.
I don't
Yes.
get up. No, if I take a nap at 3 p.m. and I've been drinking bourbon, that's it. Like, I'll see you at 8 the next morning.
You gotta recover, man.
Oh.
And go.
Well, that's what happens when you invite a 50-year-old guy on. Then you have the nap and it throws off your sleep at night. I don't bounce back like I used to.
This is for all of us. Are you familiar with? I know you don't listen, but are you familiar with on the bench? Does a segment called Buy or Sonone. It's essentially buy or sell because Brendan's negative about everything. So anyway, I've just explained the entire premise. All 4 of us, eggnog, buy or Sonone.
Sonone.
Bye.
Eggnog is garbage.
Bye. Evan Williams eggnog's great.
Too sweet for me, Sonone.
Mm.
Yeah,
right.
I'm buying it. I'll split us down the middle. I'll buy eggnog. But
Shocking that TJ loved the sweet drink.
you did too.
No.
I stand
Yeah.
on your take. Number 3, Brendan is an idiot. Oh, is this buy or Sonone, Brendan as an idiot?
Yeah, I think we get into that, and then
Okay.
Yeah.
So not
Bye.
only did he ruin our show tonight, it's a 4 for 4 buy. Not only did he ruin our show tonight, we've talked about this on the show a couple of times, but
Yes.
you gave Brendan some bourbon a couple of weeks ago, some whiskey a few weeks ago, and in the press box, you gave me some too. I appreciate that a ton, but mine made it
Brendan
home.
didn't
It was very
appreciate it
good.
at all.
I really did. It was really nice.
He appreciated it enough to not even think about it.
We've got some questions. First of all, what were the whiskeys that he?
Yes.
that
What were
he
the
ruined?
rarest whiskeys that are now in the trash?
None of them were rare. This is what it was, and I won't bore everybody too much. But there was a sampling thing that somebody I know did where they sent you out a whole about 10 samples.
Wow.
And they did an online sampling of all these 10 whiskeys. So I ended up with 2 sampling kits. I took the bourbons and ryes because that's what I like. The rest were Scotch. And I said, I know a guy who likes Scotch. So I went through and I saved these for about a month. And then I organized them all into one box and made sure he knew what they all were. And I'm like, I'm going to bring these to Snow and I'll bring them in the press box. It'll be nice. It'll be a nice gesture. And now apparently whoever is the last man out of the press box is enjoying those whiskeys.
If we can find whoever has those whiskeys right now, I would love to have them on. It's got to be some guy who like went in there and like cleaned the press box that night.
Yeah, so
what are these?
That's exactly what happened.
So Brendan said, here, I have a serious question. So is your office up near the press box? Is it like in that same area or not really?
No, it's around the front. We're in the front of the Moore Center. So it's,
Like
it's about 10 minute walk.
So when Brendan got back the next day, that's when he remembered and he was like, oh, and we were like, you should have gone up there to see if it was still there. Like you should have gone to see. And he was like, oh, I just figured like whoever was cleaning probably just already threw it away. It probably wasn't there anymore. What is your take there? Like, do you think that when he got back at noon the next day, or I'm sorry, on Monday,
it was the next day for
it was Sunday because it was recruiting. Yeah. Is there a chance that it would have still been there, or is he pretty right? Like it was gone.
It's probably a good chance it's still there.
We should go check it
Brendan
out.
literally just refuses to go and like even pull on the door handle to check it
not
out.
like,
He's just like, I'm not gonna go back.
What was our last home game?
I mean, 3 weeks ago,
Miami. Yeah,
Miami.
Okay. Yeah, Miami. So I guarantee you, when we go back to the press box next season to get it ready for whatever our opener is, there'll be Miami flip cards in there and all sorts of stuff. So there's probably a chance the box is still there. I was just too angry at him to walk 10 minutes to go look at it.
Yes, good.
Can you unlock it for me to get up there and check?
It's probably already unlocked. Yeah. Like it's probably
it's supposed to be locked.
Oh, we'll see. I really had a legit dilemma. So when on Sunday when I realized it was happening, or that I'd forgotten that I'm stupid, like my heart sank. So that was the first realization. It's like I walked all the way back without it, and there was that sensation of like walking to back to the bench to realizing like, oh, I don't have Elliott's very generous gift. And then I was like, should I even tell Elliott that I forgot it? Like I didn't have the heart to do it, and I was like, no, honesty is the best policy. Elliott was very upset, I felt like. It was hard to tell over text message, but 2 one-word responses did not make me feel very good about my faux pas.
That's what you should have felt.
Yeah.
I was not upset. I didn't think it was done with any malice.
He wasn't mad.
No, it was free scotch. Of course it was not malice.
He wasn't mad. He was just disappointed. So,
which is 100 times worse than being mad. Oh, my goodness. Well, we've gotten a lot of laughs out of it. So, all right. And the last thing, I don't want to blame Brendan after just blaming him for this, but we're going to talk about the Blue Run Rye cask strength that you have. And Brendan led you to believe that we were reviewing tonight, which we're not because we don't have. But talk to us about your thoughts on that, which I believe you did you just recently pick that up? Yeah,
I did. It's the same dilemma with all bourbon these days. Like it's really good, but it's $150.
Yeah.
Like, is it $150 good? It's like you almost can't judge anything by price these days. You can judge, I think, low price bourbon because that doesn't adjust. The price doesn't change. You can find a good value. But then when it's any good bourbon, it's like, I don't know. I almost don't want to caveat it on the price. But it's really nice. It's like got that. You think it's going to be really spicy, and it's got that first hint of it, but then it's smooth. I guess because the bourbon side is there, so it's got a lot of that spicy element, but not so much. It's that when you taste it and you drink it, it doesn't give you that same sense of when you're drinking a rye. So I was really happy with it. There was a lot of people who called me a tater for buying it, but it's done by Jim Rutledge. I mean, it's got, if you want to use the highfalutin words, province, in the sense that it's from a good distillery, it's from a good blender, it's from good people. They're just putting in a really fancy bottle and charging a lot for it.
Speaking of fancy, Brendan, did you have a thought on that? The Blue Run?
Elliott and I have been talking about it because I've been like really contemplating on buying a bottle of it. And right now, Sealbacks is doing like a Blue Run rye cask strength. I don't think it's the same exact one that Elliott got. It's like a holiday release, but it's a pretty cool bottle. I just don't know whether it's worth it or not. If only there were a podcast, fellas, or a YouTube channel that deciphered whether bourbon or rye was worth it and used a formula to determine as.
I think
maybe one day.
I think we all are like, that would be great for $75, or that would be
Yeah.
you know? And it would be, at 150 is a high price bourbon,
There's definitely a lot of diminishing returns there. Like in my head, like you break the 3-figure mark, and it's like it better really blow my socks off. Like that $99, $95, like every barrel bourbon that's like limited, like that is going to be at that $100 price point, and so it better be amazing at 150.
Yeah, and then you get into like the Garrison Brothers stuff and some of their just kind of standard, not standard, but like
and that's like $90.
Yeah, and then
tough,
some of
man.
theirs is like 150, and then up to like 190, and I'm just like, really tough for me to spend that on. I don't know. I've never. It needs to. If I'm buying $190 worth, like to me, it needs to be 3 times better than that. $65 bottle I bought, or whatever that math ends up being. So,
but you think about the Wild Turkey 1, like that's $200 once you get your taxes and stuff out of it. So it'd be interesting to go the Blue Run versus the one. I mean, it's a rye versus toasted bourbon, so it's not really the same, but price points we're talking
similar.
But there's almost every bottle now is reaching 100. I mean, like we were talking before about the 4 row store picks. Those used to be $69. Now you can't find them for under 95 at retail, and then they're all just going to secondary.
Jason No here commented, got 2 of the holiday releases from Sealbox that Brendan mentioned. Immediately buyer's remorse at $150, so they better be good. I feel you. Like
buyer's remorse.
There are many things that I buy at $150, and I say like, that was a smart part. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot of money to be blown on, especially something that you're just gonna drink and say like, oh, I've had something better that's at 70.
Yeah. All right, so and that you can't really try either, right? Like that's the thing that's not like readily available at bars or whatever. So you can't even like you go into it blind and based on other people's reviews pretty much for a lot of these craft or blended bourbons now.
I feel confident, Jason, you will not hate it. Whether you think it's worth 150, that'll be your own judgment. But I think it's the one I didn't have that one, but I was very happy with the bottle I had. If I just forget about the price after I drink it.
So I want to say that I've seen it like secondary or like around 200-ish. So just pretend that you made $50. Like just drink it thinking like, oh, there's a $50 bill in my pocket. So maybe
I think there's a lot of truth behind what Elliott said though. Like he won't hate it. There's a lot of $60 to $80 bottles that I have disliked way more than bottles at 100 to 150 that I've bought and been like, I don't like this. Like you're usually getting really great product at those price points.
Have you guys ever had $100 bottle that you didn't like? I'll start with you, Ben. Like, have you ever had $100 bottle or?
No, just because it's so few and far between.
That's true.
Like I buy like one a year, but
but I have had bottles that were close to that, and that I was like, we're gonna do the Bardstown later. I don't remember which Bardstown it was, but I had a Bardstown. Maybe it was like the number 3 or something, and I just kind of thought like. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't.
The Discovery Series? Discovery Series 3? Yeah, it's like
wasn't it Johnny's? Yeah. I was like, man, I'm glad I didn't spend the money on this.
That was me pretty early on when we were doing.
But it's not bad product. It's a really well blended product. Bardstown's the kind of they do. But
here's Sam Houston 14. I spent like 120 on a year ago, and
can't hide money.
Not worth it. What about you, Elliott? What's like the buyer's remorse bottle for you?
Well, I hate to say buyer's remorse because it was a gift, but I got one of those high-end fancy I'm not going to say who. Somebody was trying to buy me something really nice, and I appreciate it. So they went to Total Wine and they bought a really expensive bottle of Garrison Brothers, and it was I think it was around $200, and it was
Balmoral, probably
disappointing. It was silver wax top. I can't remember which one it was.
Silver wax.
Isn't that the single barrel? Just single barrel is hot. It's expensive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Did you leave it in a press box by any chance?
It has to be really bad when you're given expensive bottle and you're given it, and it's like, I hate this thing.
I have buyer's remorse for them.
I have buyer's remorse for me receiving it for free.
I have receiver's remorse.
It's so bad.
Something we did not. I want to transition this into pursuits and purchases, and I'm going to go first on this one
Yes.
because we weren't here last week to talk about it. And I want to ask Elliott. I know Brendan's had it, but something that I did not have buyer's remorse on. Got in the vault 2 weeks ago. It wasn't a wine vault. It was a good bourbon vault, and I actually got a text from a buddy. Shout out Pravar, my buddy in Jacksonville, said, "Hey, check the vault." And I looked down, didn't have an email. And so I just got on a phone call like with my boss. Literally, my boss said, "You know what I hate?" Because it had just happened. She said, "I hate when people are like talking on Instant Messenger like during a meeting." As soon as she finished saying that, vault email come through. And I'm like, crap. Like I know that you just said this, but like I gotta buy this. So got into the vault. I just owned it. I just said like, hey, I've got to respond to this. I know you just said that, but ended up getting a William LaRue Weller 2020 edition. Ben and I had it last night, and let me just tell you, I know that there's a lot of like, it's Buffalo Trace Antique, it's overhyped, and
Oh gosh,
blah, blah,
so
blah,
not
blah.
true. Holy crap!
It was one of the best whiskeys I've ever had in my life. Like not even close. Like it
Easily.
was so good. And Ben even shared some of this. Well, he was like, "Here, try this," and I was like, "Oh, you're much nicer than I am. I'm glad my wife's pregnant, so I don't have to share." But yes, the
It's
most
really good.
ridiculously
It blew me away.
good. It was so good. Elliott, have you had WLW? Are you a fan?
Yeah, at MSRP, they're probably the best bourbons you can get.
$120, 130 with tax. Yeah.
Well,
It
it was only a few years ago they were under 100. They were in the 90 range, but yeah, I mean, still they're at MSRP, they're probably as best you can get. But I think the more interesting question is, what life event would you not remove yourself from for a vault email? I mean, seriously, you would. I mean, I would almost drop anything.
Yeah,
I was
of your second child, you're probably out of there. Birth of your second child, you're fine. First, you're staying in there. Second, you gotta
They have
you gotta
Wi-Fi
see
in
what's the vault.
hospitals.
You gotta see
They have
what's in the
Wi-Fi in
vault.
hospitals. Like you could just do it real quick on your phone.
Even if
Elliott,
Right,
even
you gotta do it.
even if it's your firstborn, and while it's happening, you're still sitting there and you're like, "Shit, I wonder what's in the vault."
you gotta do
I
it.
wish I knew what was in the vault. What did I
Imagine
miss?
though. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Imagine getting that email during the birth of your firstborn and opening it up and like knowing you're gonna like fight about it later, right? Like, okay, I'm just gonna own this fight, and it being a wine invite.
Oh yeah,
Oh
you're
my
like, dang it.
gosh. I
Not
just
worth.
risked it all for this. But
That's
What
just
about,
you just run out and be like, "I really have to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry, honey. I will be
sorry,
right
I know
back."
you're doing something right now.
Yeah.
Are you leaving a job interview if the vault email pings?
Whew. It depends on if I'm getting Lincoln Riley money or not, because then I'll just buy it at secondary.
So I got the vault about a month ago, and I ended up, it wasn't as great as TJ's, but I got Michter's rye barrel strength, cast strength. I was at football practice when I got the email, Elliott, so I was supposed to be working.
That's a no-brainer.
But I didn't have my wallet with me to put it into this. So I had to borrow Chris Nee's credit card.
Do you not have like your? You have to
I
save on your phone.
did.
That's like
I did, but I got a new credit card like 3 weeks
Amateur hour.
before, so I wasn't.
That's the
Or-
first thing
yeah,
I have.
whatever.
That's the first thing I fix is my vault
Priorities.
card.
Yeah, my
That's
last
a
vault
great question.
was not good. It was it was a Weller 12, but not
yeah.
hoping for better from the vault. And
Yeah.
Brendan,
Hopefully
the
they'll-
trick. I don't want to share the trick with all the listeners because that would hurt our vault chances. But the trick you taught me no longer is working, technically.
Dang it, Brendan.
Wait, so was that the tier system trick or the loaded up with a bunch of purchases before? Because there's two different ones. I don't know if either of them were 100% legit or
This
not.
is the text message trick.
Oh, the email that get to So I had Elliott. I taught him how to get emails forwarded to his text message, and yeah, that can be a little wonky sometimes. The ABC ones for me will come by like like Joe Decadence will be like, "Oh, I just got this crappy ABC deal," and like 6 hours later, I'll get the same email. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so the texts are now getting rejected. So now I'm not getting my immediate. Sorry, I just got the ESPN alert. No,
It was Vault.
I gotta get out of here, guys. See you later.
No, the worst part now is
Elliott drops.
this. I would definitely leave this for a Vault email. That's
so would I. I wouldn't even think about it. I'd do it live on the air.
Right? No, the worst part is now ABC, because it's the holidays, is sending emails every couple of days.
All the time.
Oh, yeah.
Every other day, you know.
Logo,
and it's like, it'll be,
bourbon.
And it's always like, they always get you with one of those like catchwords or whatever, like exclusive holiday drink recipes. And I'm just like, nobody, like, no, I know how to make eggnog. Like, you sprinkled cinnamon on top of it. Like, relax. So, but anyway,
I accidentally subscribed to ABC, the TV network, as well, and so I get like Dancing with the Stars updates as well. But you can never be too careful with Vault updates.
Why?
I just want to have all. I want to have all my boxes checked.
Reason behind. Give me the reason why you subscribe to any
and for a while,
ABC channel.
It's like, why is ABC the Vault? Like, are they doing like watch parties for Dancing with the Stars? It didn't make a lot of sense.
No, what a nightmare.
Brendan's just waiting for that text alert to come through that Desperate Housewives has been returned to ABC.
He's like,
Terry Hatcher, what up?
He said, I ain't gonna miss that.
So the William LaRue Weller, Brendan, quick thoughts on WLW? I know you have some too. You have a sample here that I haven't cracked yet.
Yeah. You should do them head to head, and also like put a Pappy in there and see what the better weeder is, right? Yeah.
Which is your of the ones you've tried? Which is your favorite?
The Stag and the William LaRue Weller are definitely the top two of the antique for me.
Yeah.
The Handy was good, but I didn't think it was.
It's definitely a tear down, I think.
Yeah, and then the Eagle Rare is last. It wasn't bad by any means, but lower proof, really, really oak heavy. And then I've never had the Sazerac, which I love baby Sazerac. So that's the one that, I mean, obviously it also being the fifth one that I haven't had, or like the last one I haven't had. Of course, I want to try it, but
Saz is the hardest to find. I've never been able to get a Saz. I've told Brennan this before.
Really?
Yeah, and there was a period of time it was the hardest to find because there was a batch that was just supposedly insane, and they vatted it and they used it for like 4 years. 4 different releases all came from the same batch.
Wow.
But that's not around anymore. But still, even with that, I've never been able to land a Saz. I've had all 4 others, but not Saz. And I don't know if y'all get taken too. Every year they put out the bottle of the, not Buffalo Trace, but somebody on social puts out the bottle of the Elmer T. Lee Buffalo Trace Antique Collection bottle. So every year people think that's actually happening, but apparently it's just one of those fun internet
comes
things.
through. So that's sad. And it's the kind of thing where now that I've had the other 4, like I'd even try it at a bar. Like I'd even overpay like 50, 60, 70, like whatever I have to pay for a pour of it just to say that I've had the 5th one. Ben
found that offensive.
$50, $60, $70. Jeez,
maybe not 70, but you say like 50, and then if it's like 61, are you gonna have to do it for $11, right?
Yes.
Like
it's not $11, it's $61.
Dollars.
Not 11.
Doll hairs.
And the other thing too is there are different releases every year. Obviously, especially with Stag, you get different proofs every year. You know.
Yeah.
The Stag always wins for me just because it's insane how high proof it is and how smooth it is for
the
proof.
For sure.
The Weller though was 134 proof and it drank like 100 proof. It blew me away. It blew me away how good that was.
The nose on it is exquisite. It's one of the best noses, hands down.
It's really good.
Nose down. I would contend that the Stag Juniors are. The recent ones that have come out are punching with the daddy stags, the George 2 stags.
I mean, I think that we did the Stag next to the Stag Junior, and from what I could tell or see or taste or whatever was everything about the Stag Junior. The George T. Stag was just a smoother, crisper, better version of that. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Stag was just a lot sharper, a little tougher on that side. All right, keep going on.
Stag Juniors were really hot.
They used to be, but the last 2
Yeah.
or 3 years they've kind of figured out whatever the super formula is.
So I've only Ben and I both had a bottle of the batch 14. I've got a bottle of the batch 15 on its way. So I'm excited
Ooh.
to be able to try that. I haven't had the batch 15 yet. Purchases. Ben, talk to us about your trip to North Carolina.
Oh, yes.
And we'll get into Brendan.
When we were going up there, I was convinced that it's going to be the wasteland of all bourbon. Controlled state, nothing's available. Everyone talked crap about it. But that being said, I was able to walk into a store and grab this off the shelf. How about Midwinter's nice Dram on the shelf, like just hanging out, doing nothing. Okay, not a problem. And so I went to another store and I grabbed a Michter's barrel strength rye, just hanging out on the shelf, saying what's up. And I was like, okay, like these people have no idea what either people don't understand what they're looking for, or I'm just outrageously lucky. Then the next day, I walked in. And
let's tell the people you were in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, like in the middle of the mountains. So maybe less people searching there.
This is the west side of the state. No one's there, but the little town had a liquor store, and so I would go every other day just to see what they got. Everyone told me, like, they were like super cordial about it, like, oh yeah, we'll get a new delivery on Tuesday. And I was like, okay, I'll see you Tuesday morning. Not a big deal. And then while I was like on my way out of town, I stopped in and they had this bottle of Booker's Batch 4. This is the No Strangers batch. It just came out, and it's 126 proof or something. So, but it's all MSRP. I don't have to worry about stores, jacking up prices or anything like that. It's just whatever MSRP is, that's what it is. I love that. And people were like crapping on controlled states. Nope, I want to move to controlled state. It's great.
This was all the same store, Ben?
So the Michter's Michter's barrel strength rye and the Booker's, and then I also got a 1792 12 year. That's at TJ's house right now, but 1792 12 year. Those were all from the same store, just on their allocated shelf. Like whatever they got in that was allocated, they just put it on a shelf. And I bought it.
I do assume that most of our listeners and followers live in the more populated areas of North Carolina, like Raleigh and Charlotte and places where that stuff probably goes.
That's really it. That's really it for North Carolina.
So, yeah, I was trying to think of more cities. I was like, that was
Greensboro.
Which got both of them. So I would assume that that's really why it's harder to find out there, where you're in the mountains and all they drink is moonshine over there. So not to judge anybody in the mountains. But
I described that as an epic haul when I was telling Elliott about Ben's haul. And epic, I think, for
it's a
Elliott.
Great haul.
It is great. But Elliott, would you define that as epic? Because you have a different context as a long-term bourbon hunter compared to us who are 4 or 5 years into it.
What was the bottle? There wasn't a bottle in the pick you sent me that made me upgrade it. You said he also got this.
It was a Midwinter Night Dram that was added.
Yeah,
afterward.
no, I think that's a very good haul. Not epic.
That's going for that's like 3 stores. Like I didn't have to do anything. They were just there. It was so stupid.
It's a great haul. It is, but you know what? That's a good question. What would take it from great to epic in this day and age?
I know what would take it to epic. This would take it to epic. This would I would dump all of Ben's bottles out. So what do we got there? The High West, is that the what is that? The Son of
Bourbon. Yeah,
that wasn't much.
Sorry.
The 4
E.H. Taylor, cured oaks. Sheesh.
Those were big. The 2 one that you can't see in the boxes, those are the Wild Turkey 13 years. Those were in Perry on a shelf, and they didn't even know what to charge me for them.
Perry's awful now when I go there.
Perry, Florida. Oh my gosh, in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And that single barrel, that thing was, I can't remember. That was like a 90s single barrel sitting on a shelf in a St. Pete store. And that was 2015. And that was from the 90s. So, yeah. And I think the other ones came from ABC, the Weller 12s.
Before they had a vault program, I would assume.
Yeah, definitely. It was
Yeah.
2015, Elliott said. So you can't find Dusties anymore, right? Like I found a Dusty back in like maybe 2017, 2018 of a Colonel E.H. Taylor single barrel at Elliott. You know the place? It's going up to Havana. It's a little package store on Monroe and Capitol Circle
Mhm.
on the right by Lake Jackson. I found a bottle of that for like 55, 60 bucks. I didn't know what they had, and I got this was again years ago. But that was one of the last times I found like a quote unquote Dusty, like something that had been there for multiple years that hadn't been picked up yet.
People find them apparently. I mean, I think it's it's really rare now, but there was a time when that's people, they made it their job to just transfer. I mean, I met a guy who he was great. I mean, he got me so many Dusties, just trade with me. When I first met him, I met him at a Walmart parking lot because I'd only met him through Facebook, and I didn't know if it was an abduction scene or what. My wife was in a separate car keeping an eye out just to make sure that I didn't get abducted. But then this guy, I mean, he plots it out, and what he does is he pulls the records on the shop to make sure they've been opened a certain amount of years or he won't stop in. I mean, he's not stopping in the store that opened in 2010. It's got he pulls their records. There's some people who are dedicated. Man, this guy, he went on a thing where he found, I mean, like 100 bottles of the old Eagle Rare before they changed their bottles and everything. I mean, that was kind of his obsession. Yeah, he used to give me some really good stuff. I used to get him. He was a Clemson fan, so I'd get my I'd get my comp tickets, and he'd come up and meet me at the hotel. I'd give him his 4 Clemson tickets, and he'd drop so much.
That's awesome.
That's a heck of a trade.
It was unbelievable. Then I had to get him back on the charter plane, which just shove him in the suitcase.
Yeah,
don't worry about it. But
good thing you didn't leave him in the press box.
But there's people, like I said, they're dedicated. I never heard anyone say they check the age of the liquor store before. They won't even stop at the ones that are new.
Wow,
it's impressive.
Waste of time.
I'm convinced that you'll be able to find plenty of Blanton's Dusties in the next 5 years, because I walk into every local, like every small liquor shop has one Blanton's on the shelf for like $190.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and that'll never get bought. So if you want a 5-year-old Blanton's, just wait a couple of years and go into that store. It'll still be sitting there because no one's freaking buying that thing.
So what is the bottle that you could realistically think you could find MSRP that would make it an epic find?
So I walked into a Costco about a year and a half ago, and I grabbed a Thomas H. Handy at MSRP. Actually, less than MSRP. It was like $89, something like that, and grabbed one of those. And that was pretty epic. That was an epic.
That's epic.
But it's Costco, though.
It is Costco. But
Costco is epic.
Brendan knows my wife got me. What she got me? A Weller or a?
It was a George T. Stag, and Costco
Stag.
Really boned me over on that one. Costco and Kevin, you're dead to me. You hear that, Kevin? Dead to me.
I think the only, like, I could see maybe walking in somewhere and finding an E.H. Taylor barrel proof, which would be kind of an epic grab these days.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's possible, although I haven't seen one in forever anywhere. I mean, you don't see an E.H. Taylor anywhere anyway, but maybe.
My idea of something epic would be finding something mispriced. We talk about, your small batch limited edition that was within the small batches. Like, I would love to find, you can walk into a Walmart and their E.H. Taylors are going to have it's the same tube. Like, there's no one that's working at Walmart that's going to be like, oh yeah, that's a barrel proof versus the small batch. Like, they just wouldn't. I feel like they would go under the radar. So to me, walking in and finding something mispriced because it's labeled incorrectly or misskewed, that would be epic for me.
I found that, like, not this one. I found Midwinter Night Dram for like $110, so not too much over MSRP.
Yeah,
up in almost Canada, like Placid, New York, a couple years ago. So I mean, that's allocated-ish, right? So I don't know. Yeah, it's tough to find them now. Anything that's super substance. Everyone knows what they've got. I feel like all the shop owners know.
Brendan, you splurged a little bit.
I did.
For some purchases.
I did. I've waited a couple weeks to buy stuff, so I went down to the St. Pete, Tampa area for Thanksgiving and that week leading up to it. And the one thing I saw, I went to Lucan's. I wasn't able to do a ton of hunting, but I did go to Lucan's. and I saw a bottle that I've been wanting for a while. Elliott's actually talked me off of it a little bit. So I saw it there and it was $50. I was like, I don't know. I said no to it at the time. It was WB Saffel from Wild Turkey, which, Wild Turkey month. I like the bottle. It's a $50 bottle for what's it? 0.375. So it's a half a bottle. So it's about $100 if you're paying for a full price of it. But I said no to it then, right? And I was like, I don't know. And then like I did have the opposite of buyer's remorse. Like as I left the area and went to Gainesville to go cover the UF game. So I thought about it. I was like, I wish I had. Like it's something I wanted for a while. It's the bottle that I ordered about a year ago, and it got broke in the mail, and I had to kind of eat the price on it. So it's been something I've been wanting. I stopped in one liquor store in Gainesville, Spring Hill Liquors, which is just north of the city by Santa Fe Community College. They always have a good selection there of scotch and a bourbon, usually relatively good price. And they had the WB Saffel there. So I got it. I want to try it. It's a cool little bottle. I'll probably use it as an infinity bottle when I'm done with it. It's Wild Turkey juice at 107 proof. How bad can it be, right? Also, while I was there, I got
$100.
No, it's $50, but it's
P. Diddy.
So if TJ knows, I've been looking for this for a little while. It's High West American Prairie Bourbon finished in peated whiskey. Now I looked for it in the Tampa area, which is where TJ has seen some of the releases. They didn't have any in Lucan's and the other store I stopped in. They did have one at the same store in Gainesville, but this was one from someone who was like in the Gainesville area. So it wasn't that store, but I guess it was their whiskey society. Jigs Patel has a store called Jigs, and here's a little
the one I
bottle.
texted you. The one I texted you.
I thought
You said,
what's
what's that store in Gainesville? And I was like, Jigs. And you were like, no, that's not it. And I was like,
Definitely
I'm
that
sure
store.
that's it. So you found what you were looking for there.
But it wasn't it. It was his selection, his single barrel that was just sold at another store. And so,
the north side in that Publix Anchor shopping center.
Yeah. Save the day.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. I splurged a little bit this week. That was it.
All right. So we need to jump into our King of the Hill.
Yes.
Which, unfortunately, because Brendan screwed us up, Elliott cannot be a part of because he doesn't have the samples. But if Brendan was a better friend or a better whiskey
Elliott.
recipient, you could have this. Brendan, what's going up against Midwinter Night's Dram? We took a week off last week. What do we got going on today?
Elliott, you just want to sit here and watch us do this and be jealous of what we're sampling? Are you cool with that?
I might make a witty remark if I feel it come upon me.
Yes.
That's what we're here for, witty remarks. So this is round 4 of King of the Hill. The one we did 2 weeks ago, which was round 4, that my neighbor Pat gave us, that Blade Rummer, that doesn't count. Pat, I'm sorry. Also, here, Pat is so distraught by what's happened. In the last 2 weeks, he has put his house up for sale and sold it. I'm not kidding you. I don't think it was because of the Blade Rummer.
He could have just said unsubscribe.
I
would have appreciated that better.
As a friend, as a neighbor, I sent Pat back after the Blade Rummer. So we are
this is not going to be close either.
Round 4.
Really?
The contender, we're down to round 4, Midwinter Night Dram by High West Distillery. It's a rye finished in port. We don't have to keep going over it. We know what it is. But it's done well to get to this point. Tectonic's cast strength maple syrup a few weeks ago finished great. That gave it a run for its money. So here we are for round 4. The challenger, Ben, your buddy, who's it? Jake provided
Jake. Shout out Jake.
Jake, you're no longer dead to me because you provided me with a expensive finished whiskey. So thank you, Jake. So it's Bardstown the Prisoner. Bardstown does some of their own distilling, but they do a lot of blending right now. So this is a straight bourbon finished in Prisoner wine French oak barrels. The bourbon is from an undisclosed distillery in Tennessee, which probably Dickel, right? I think that would probably be safe to say.
It's unknowable, Brendan. No one knows.
It's undisclosed, but we're going to guess. Proof at 100, age 9 years. The mash bill 84% corn, 8% rye, 8% malted barley, and the MSRP you can get it at some ABCs at $142. Looks like a little bit closer to 200. So this is finally one that is in a similar price range, if not more, than a Midwinter Night Dram.
This definitely trades on the secondary market for more MSRP, and if you can find it at MSRP, then I guess it's good.
So Elliott's not disappointed, I think, because he's not part of this because he hates finished bourbons. So
good choice, Elliott.
Don't hate, just don't understand.
That's very, very.
Do you
Yeah.
wait? We
Accepting
talked about this, but you not hate. You don't understand when it's finished in like wine and orange curacao and everything else. But what about when it's finished in another, like just a toasted barrel or just like a double oak? Or, like, do you not like those either, or are those
No, that's
more
fine.
acceptable? Okay,
I'm
That's
acceptable.
fine.
That's the one.
very good.
I just don't want to
wanna make
mix.
sure.
I just don't want to mix my wine and my orange curacao with my bourbon.
Sounds amazing.
So shout out Star Liquor. Jake got an MSRP there. Jake, thanks for tuning in and hanging out. Thanks for the whiskey as well. All right, what do we got on the nose here? Because we've talked about this week after week after week. That Midwinter nose is amazing.
Sugar plums.
Sugar plums.
Sad that anything has to go up against it because it's
But
probably the
Prisoner,
best nose
though,
we've ever had.
I get a lot of like, mine's more cherry and musty, like a
Musty. That's a
Yeah,
good way to describe
like,
something.
it has like some
It's kind of like feet. It's very musty. I
not
love
feet, but like it has like an old characteristic.
There is
Do you guys not get that?
no. There is
This is
a
old
dusty.
Am I being crazy with that?
No,
it
it's so
tastes
first. It's super fruit forward, so I'm with Ben there. I got more
Mhm.
berries than cherry, but I agree to disagree. It's a fruit
Yeah.
forward, which is the wine influence, right? But yeah, there's this funky, either like a dusty
Musty
corn or like
dust.
an old
Dust.
book kind of. Yeah,
To me, it's like like a dry red wine with like it's like astringent and like kind of dry your mouth out, and that's what I'm getting from the Prisoner. It's a little drier
see that.
than the richness of the Midwinters.
Yeah, the Midwinters is definitely sweeter as well.
more vibrant.
Oh,
I get
yeah.
a little bit of brown sugar with the Prisoner, but the depth of Midwinter Night Dram, it's more drama and it's sweeter, and Midwinter Night Dram nose to me is better. I've been nosing it for a while, but Midwinter Night Dram is superior in my opinion.
I'm kind of liking the Prisoner because of the cherry and the darker notes as opposed to like the full sweet. I love things a little less sweet, but
Have you tasted it?
yeah, and it goes back to that drying tannin notes. Those really come through, in my opinion, on the whiskey. Whereas to me, the Midwinters can almost get palate overwhelming. It's how sweet it is. Like it is so sweet and so full that what are you gonna drink? You can't drink more than like an ounce and a half.
Oh, it's too rich and beautiful.
It's
and amazing.
outrageously
Yeah,
rich,
it's sweet and decadent and lovely and
Joe Decadent.
beautiful and just perfect. You just can only take so much of that. It's like it's why my wife can only handle me in small doses.
Yeah,
When you're
gross.
around something that great, it's really tough.
Elliot, you have a Midwinter
Yeah, at
Night
least
Dram.
hang
Not
with me here, Elliot. Come on, like it's
Yeah,
overly
Elliot,
sweet.
you
It is
like Midwinter
overly
Night
sweet.
Dram, correct? Like as far as finished stuff, you're a semi fan at least.
Yeah, I do. I gotta confess I haven't had a pour in a while, so I
Mhm.
probably need to go back and revisit.
You should do that right now.
Yeah, no, that would, as we talked earlier, that would be my third pour of the night that I've only made through about 3 sips of each.
Sounds like a Monday to me.
But yeah, you guys go ahead. But yeah,
See you in the office tomorrow.
my recollection is I did like the Midwinter's Night Dram.
It's
so
good. Don't get me wrong. It's
Great.
very good.
It's great.
It is great. Don't get me wrong. It's great. But it can be a bit overwhelming. Just saying.
It is intense, and when you compare it, would notice with like the Blade Runner, it is so distinct in its flavor profile that it could almost be kind of like when you compare it next to something else, a little disarming in a way, if that makes sense, because it is so unique and rich and complex, which is great.
Right.
It's not a mixing. It's not one that you're gonna enjoy Midwinter Night Dram that evening, and that's it. When you start mixing it with other stuff, it can get.
Oh yeah, your palate would be crushed if
Yes.
you went to anything else. So
This
Are
Prisoner
we-
reminds me of Wild Berry Pop Tarts. Remember those when they first came out? You guys aren't.
I remember them. I don't know if I ate them, but I
They're like
remember
the,
them.
the purple,
Purple, the
frosting.
light
Purple
Yes.
and the blue. Yes,
Yes.
zigzag.
That's what this
Elliott
reminds me
had
of.
those growing up. Those are
Oh.
big.
Whoa, old joke.
He had those. Come on, everyone had them.
What a dick, Ben. What a dick.
Yeah, that was really well played and soulless.
That was great.
Invite me on the show. In the future.
I came from a non-Pop-Tart home. I was
non-Pop-Tart.
Do Jewish people eat Pop-Tarts? do Christians?
Do you celebrate Pop-Tarts?
I think all three of us were trying to figure out whether to make the joke or not, and then TJ went for it. So, yeah.
do people actually eat those Pop-Tarts with no frosting?
No,
the
that's
apple
psychotic.
Apple
Just-
sandwich ones?
Oh, yeah. Serial killers do.
When you're younger, you think you could do Pop-Tarts. Like, it's okay to do it not toasted, but as you get a little older, one, it's tough to go to Pop-Tarts. Like, in your 30s, the sweetness is a little overwhelming.
They
need to be toasted now.
There
Absolutely.
are two Pop-Tart flavors. There is the original strawberry,
Of course,
and
TJ likes s'mores.
Those are the only two.
Blueberry?
Strawberry and s'mores.
Blueberry?
Are you kidding me? Blueberry? That's garbage. That is a garbage Pop-Tart.
No, blueberry. What are you?
Strawberry and s'mores.
Oh
Those are the
my
only two that
goodness.
need to be existing.
I'm putting on Twitter while you guys are doing this. Keep
Tell-
talking.
Twitter's wrong. If
You're
Twitter
gonna get
votes
roasted
against
on
me,
your own
it's
thing.
the entire
They're gonna
thing's wrong.
stone you.
Yeah. No, I want
Are
blueberry.
we voting? Are we voting on this, Brendan?
Yeah, let's vote. Let's vote.
The Prisoner is very nice. It's not as good a quality across the board as Midwinter Night Dram. I don't think it's particularly close. Again, we're talking about a great borderline elite whiskey versus a very good one. So yeah, I'm going with Midwinter Night Dram, and I don't think this was a particularly close round 4.
Ben.
Sorry, Jake. I was going for you.
We can tell.
It's good. I don't want
it's
Jake to feel
Midwinters.
bad. Yeah, it's
It's
Midwinter.
Midwinters.
Oh.
It's Midwinters.
Well, just for that, I'm going to take the Prisoner, Jake.
You're into
my
that.
God. Love
What
your, love your sample. Yeah, I think it blows it away. Honestly, it's not even close. No, I think the Midwinters is better. But this would do very well. If we rated this, it would get a good score. The Midwinters is just elite. Sorry, Elliott, I cut you off.
So if it was 2-2, what would happen?
Oh, well, thank God we don't have to worry about that.
Ooh. I love
That's a good
Elliott.
question.
Throw it in there.
Ooh,
Elliott, which one do you like?
I
Which one
think
do you
Ty
like
would
to
go
do?
Since you're
to
drinking neither, which
to the
one do you
cheapest.
prefer?
From the reviews I heard, I'm going Prisoner.
Yeah, baby. Let's go. Let's go. It's tied. It's all tied. Tied it up.
Elliot, we got to get you. I'll get you a sample of the maple syrup one we did 2 weeks ago. It's at cask strength, so that kind of undercuts the sweetness of the maple syrup. It is excellent. I know that's not your cup of tea, but I do think you would enjoy it. We'll get you a sample.
To break the tie, Jake says I did this side by side while watching Midwinter Night Dram wins. It's not that close for me.
Yeah!
Ben was over here bending over backwards to kiss.
I know.
his
I
butt,
was like,
and
man,
Jake's just like,
so
yeah,
good.
Midwinter's is better. Like it's okay.
Dang it, Jake.
Shout out
Jake did it
Jason
for
and
you.
Jennifer who watched this show as a married couple. I don't know. You guys are
Chocolate
my
fudge
heroes.
and blueberry.
Chocolate fudge. The wild berry's good. He's right.
No.
And then Jennifer's with Brendan here saying the blueberry is really good.
Jennifer, I disagree.
We're not-
Wholeheartedly.
Twitter, Jennifer, because I don't want you voting that in Brendan's poll that he's going to get crucified for.
I could go so hard. I'm not going to go after our listeners.
I got blueberry, strawberry, s'more, wild berry, and they can decide between those 4. We'll see.
Yeah.
What are we?
Strawberry.
What's the next round in?
King of the Hill.
Finish
No, so none have made it. None of the contenders. So 1920 didn't make it this far. Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye did not make it this far. So this is uncharted territory. We haven't seen a round 5.
or tasted
there
them.
Or tasted one. There are
I
2
wanna
options.
Yes.
There is. We can either do the High West Yippee Ki which
Yes. Discontinued.
Discontinued.
Impossible to get now.
It
Yes.
can be more expensive. It's a similar product, but it's finished in
Vermouth?
Vermouth as opposed to port. Yeah.
Or
Yep. What's the next
that
option?
could be a bonus. Or the one we initially wanted to go with was this is gonna be right up TJ's alley. Michter's Toasted Barrel Rye at barrel strength.
No,
yeah.
that's garbage. That's garbage. I want to go Yippee. I want to go Yippee versus
Well,
Midwinters.
Here's what, we're going to do both of them unless it loses to one. But I say we
Guys,
do the Midwinters versus the Yippee because I think the mixers is going to beat it. Being the barrel strength, I think that one's going to win.
It may be a toughie. This needs to end. Look how much this is all I haven't drinking this Midwinter Dram other than with you guys.
Easy for you to say.
Good whiskey is to be drank. So we'll do Yippee Ki next week.
Yippee, man! Oh man, I can't wait. High West versus High West, top dog, baby.
Elliott, have you? I know you probably get a billion of these, but have you gotten a chance to break in any of the samples that I gave you that you hopefully did not leave in the press box?
Did you leave any?
He left them in the press box.
I will cry. Not really, because they were just.
Yeah, I have. But you have to remind me.
So there was a Peerless Rye store pick that I like a lot. Pretty high proof. There was the light whiskey, which is like 140 proof. That was.
Oh, you gave him the light whiskey. That's good.
I gave him the light whiskey. And then there was one more, but I kind of forget what it is now. Brendan, I told you. Oh, it was a maker's pick. There was a maker's cask strength. A maker's stave.
Yep, I tried the makers. That's I like. I think we talked about this before. I've never been a big makers fan, but I love these stave picks.
They are always amazing. You can never have a bad one. They're so freaking good.
Elliott, there's one up at ABC from South Florida that South Florida's ABC. So they have two different ABC picks right now. If you're interested,
which ABC?
Which one did I go to today? Thomasville by Midtown Thomasville. Okay. They had two today. I checked. Yeah,
that was one of the bottles I got this past week. It was like a 10 chocolate stave one that they said they don't think they've ever heard makers doing that. I haven't broke it open yet, but I got that. But yeah, I did try the makers and I liked it. I don't think I've hit the other two yet.
It's pretty great.
We love that Peerless. In fact, we just did a rapid review of this year's Peerless. We like that a lot. And then that light whiskey it's an Obtainium. It's a store pick down here in Tampa. It's 140 proof, so I mean it's big, but it drinks a little lighter. It reminds us of like almost like a custard. Like a banana custard,
creme brulee,
rice pudding. Very creamy. It's very good. So
two of my favorite pours I've had, and that's not two of like top 5, but two of my memorable ones are both light whiskeys. I really kind of dig light whiskeys.
I like it too.
I need to try it.
Ooh, get him a sample.
High West is coming out with light whiskey, which is not at a high proof, and I'm kind of concerned that that's going to be weird, but we'll see. I like High West products, so.
Big High West fan. Gentlemen, any closing thoughts tonight before we get out of here? Brendan?
Real quick, Coors is apparently doing a whiskey, which is sourced through 4 different states, Colorado being one of them. And I think they're actually doing it right, fellas. Like there's a wheat mash bill. I'm
going to Sonone this. Is that what we're deciding? Buy or Sonone?
Yeah, sure.
I Sonone the Coors whiskey.
There's also a Thanksgiving infused bourbon that I saw on the market where they like take turkey and they like
Sonone again.
Oh, never mind.
Get out of here.
Never mind. Elliott, what did you have to say? Because Ben's dead to me.
Excellent. For those of you who are younger watching, there's these things they release. Like sometimes they're weekly, sometimes they're monthly. They're on paper. They're called magazines. And the latest.
What's the newspaper?
The latest
TikTok.
The latest issue of Whiskey Advocate is really bourbon heavy, and there's some good stuff in there. There's pretty big interview with auction houses and what the trends they're seeing, and it was shocking. They talked about Garrison and Whistle Pig early editions all starting to vault price wise in auction houses.
Whistle Pig, I send it back.
But if you're looking for those bourbons, for those of you who want to make some money down the road, they're those are the ones they're saying are kind of climbing right now. But I think once a year maybe they do an issue that's pretty bourbon heavy, and this one is. It's got a feature on all the new distilleries like Bardstown, like Wilderness Trail. So
that's favorite.
It's
I like Wilderness Trail.
Yeah, I do too. It's a good read with some information. There's some stuff in there that everybody who reads it will already know. Pappy's expensive, so on and so forth. But I thought it was a pretty good issue.
What's the name of the magazine again?
Whiskey Advocate.
Whiskey Advocate, and a magazine is printed on paper, which comes from trees, and it's got some glossiness to it. Just some people may not know what the magazine is.
Lots of ads, very pretty pictures of liquor,
Mm.
those kind of things. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it was kind of interesting reading about the auction house guys who do this for a living and what they're seeing.
Wow.
And it also talked about how they're seeing for the first time ever, percentage-wise, bourbons outpacing scotches at auction.
Oh, well.
As they should. Sorry, Scotch.
Jack Daniel's Coy Hill closed at $6.50 for this weekend's unicorn auction.
I want one of those bottles so
insane.
bad. If anyone can
Wow.
get me a Coy Hill bottle this year, let me know. I'm not paying $6.50.
I can get you one for
but-
$6.50.
Yeah, sounds great. But I would love one of those. Oh my gosh. I love Jack Daniel's last year release, so I can only imagine a hazmat release of bourbon this year. Come on.
It's probably not
Let's
as good if we're being honest.
I don't know
You
that.
like rye
and neither
more.
do you.
You like rye more.
I'm just saying. I got to continue the collection.
We will review Wild Turkey 1
Elliot will
on
not.
Thursday. Unfortunately,
His
Brendan-
bottle is not here yet.
unfortunately, Brendan blew it.
Sorry. So we had Elliot come on for, well, one, we want to do a Friends Month in December. We're not quite there yet,
Yes.
but we wanted to finish up Wild Turkey month in November. And none of that.
January is enemy month.
And Elliot
so
is here joining us
prepared.
in November without turkey, and that is my fault. Sorry, Elliot.
No, as we went over, I read the text message string. It was definitely not your fault. Just it was first blame to go around.
What's most important is will Brendan, when are you back up at campus next?
I don't know.
Hopefully
Never.
tomorrow to try to find your freaking samples. Hello.
Should I try it, Elliot? Do you think the door would be unlocked? Should I try to go in there and check it out?
Text me and I will walk up with you and we'll go on a scavenger hunt.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
I'm gonna waste more of Elliot's time on something that's probably not gonna work out for him.
Yes.
If we don't find a box of samples, we'll definitely find a box of Chick-fil-A that's been sitting there for 3.5 weeks.
Oh,
Ooh,
And
that'll
I
be your
will eat
punishment.
Yeah,
Yes.
give me another cookie, Brendan.
Brendan, did you tell everybody how you tried to claim unclaimed Chick-fil-A boxes of the press box? When
It wasn't
did.
unclaimed.
Yes.
Matt Merschel
Yes, that
of the
was you.
Orlando Sentinel gave it to me. He said, "You can have
he wasn't
mine."
even in town.
It was on his table. I asked him if he could have it, and it was in his area. It was claimed.
All I'm saying is kick Brendan out of the press box. Put me in there. I will remember every sample you give me. I'll also talk about sports.
Please
I'm
don't
a big
pull my
sports guy.
credentials.
I'm
Please
good.
don't pull them.
If I have to, I told Brendan earlier this week, if I have to see him, Zach, Nee, and 24/7 all tweet the exact same tweet within 3 seconds of each other again, I may pull one of their credentials.
To be fair,
Pull it.
I was sleeping.
Pull
That's how
it.
you get. That's how you get it in the Google AMP, Elliot. I'm telling you. Well, you know what? We'll have a little conversation.
Double
about
Fries
AMP.
No Slaw needs a second media pass. Take
Yeah,
one
Ben-
from
Ben said-
24/7.
Ben
I
said,
need a
just
second-
submit
I
my
need-
name. And I was like, I don't think that's how it works.
Put
I was
me
like,
in there,
I think Elliot
babe.
knows who you are.
Put me in, coach.
Oh,
I'm
Brendan left.
ready to
That's
play
amazing.
today.
All right, Elliot. Thanks for hanging out.
Yes, thank
Happy
you.
Hanukkah. Hopefully, you
Thanks,
have
all.
a
I would love to
fantastic
come back for
Thanksgiving.
be the only guy to go on Friends Month and Enemies Month.
That's right.
Ooh,
Let's do
January.
it.
Friends and villains, baby.
You're invited.
We send you only samples of Finnish whiskey that you have to drink.
If you get me a
Orange
sample
Curacao.
that Thomas S. Moore Chardonnay finish, I'd be over in your debt.
Rose Penelope.
Well, that's
There
been
you
on
go.
sale perpetually at ABC. It must be awful.
No,
It
I
must-
thought they had non-finished versions of Thomas S. Moore too, which I was willing to try, but all I can see is Chardonnay, port, and I can't remember what the other one.
Just
That's the only
wait.
one.
Just wait for Enemies Month. You'll get it.
Can't wait.
Bye, Elliot.
All
Thank
right,
you
cool.
for
Cheers, y'all.
joining us. Yes.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.
Take care.
I'm trying to leave.
Oh, you're fine. He got it. I don't know if I kicked him or if he left or what, but
Yeah.
all right, cool. That's pretty much it. We could have closed up with him on, but we'll jump into some more fun stuff after this, after we stop recording. But thanks for those that hung out. Thanks for those that listened all the way through. A little
Yes,
bit
thank
longer
you.
of an episode tonight, but
Thanks, Jake.
thanks
This
for
was
hanging
fun.
out with us, Jason, Jennifer. You guys are great. Jake, all the J trio here tonight.
J cubed. No, wait. What's 3? Oh my
For
God.
myself,
Never mind.
hey, no, one more thing. If you haven't
Myself.
on our page, check out the rapid reviews that we're doing. Lots of fun. We're shouting out some local store picks. Really, really cool stuff. We're enjoying them.
Yes.
These get long-winded. They're long conversations. Those are like 6 to 7 minute episodes, quick thoughts on a whiskey, and then we get out. So lots of fun. Go check those out. Rapid reviews on all of our pages. They end up everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever we are, they are as well. Guys, see you guys on Thursday when we review Wild Turkey 1. Excited for
Gobble.
that. You guys have a great night. Until next time, cheers.
Down, digga, down, digga, down, digga, down, digga.